Hello there. Fewer cars were built in Great Britain last year than in 1956. There are many reasons for this, and they cannot be traced back to Brexit alone, but also to that one. British car production fell further last year and, as I said, only reached the level of 1956. The industry association SMMT blamed this primarily on the global shortage of semiconductors, but also on the closure of 2 factories and the effects of the corona lockdowns in the China supply chains. Production for the domestic market increased significantly by 9.4% compared to 21. However, exports fell by 14%. This hits the manufacturers in Great Britain particularly hard because 4/5 of the cars produced are exported. More than half of this in turn goes to the EU, while exports to the international community fell by 10%. 2022 was the worst year since 1956, said the head of the British motor industry, Mike Hawes, to the news agency AFP. The past 3 years have been horrible, first because of the corona pandemic, then also because of the lack of semiconductors. In 2022, 40% fewer cars were produced than in 2019. And according to the SMMT, 775,014 cars were produced last year. That's almost 10% less than in the previous year. According to the industry association, the lack of semiconductors was compounded by high energy prices and other delivery problems due to the many corona lockdowns in China. Manufacturers worldwide had to struggle with the difficulties. In Great Britain, 2 factories are also closed. The Honda plant in Swindon in the south of the country has been idle since the summer of 21. And since spring 22, the plant of Opel's sister brand Vauxhall in Ellesmere Port in the north of the country has been converted in order to manufacture electric cars there. The Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders, that is the SMMT, was pleased with the production of electric vehicles, which had risen to a record 234,066 vehicles. A good 30% of all cars manufactured in Great Britain were therefore fully electric or hybrid. Since 2017, the value of exported e-cars has increased from 1.3 to more than £10 billion, and the British government intends to ban new combustion engines from 2030 onwards. The potential for this division is obvious, said SMMT boss Mike Hawes, and he demanded now the right decisions must be made. This includes a strategy to expand domestic battery production and push the switch to e-vehicles across the industry. But just last week, the startup Britishvolt filed for bankruptcy, which had planned a factory for battery cells in the northeast of England. Almost 300 jobs are affected. And the economic data for Great Britain remain rather gloomy, and there are only a few small rays of hope, according to Oberbank in its current daily commentary on the international financial markets. Contrary to what the Bank of England suspects, the country does not appear to be stuck in a recession, they say. This can be derived from the most recently published monthly GDP data. Furthermore, the Purchasing Managers Index was able to recover somewhat thanks to the stronger service sector. It is therefore quite possible that a possible recession will not be as severe and as long as feared. However, consumer sentiment is being dampened by persistently high inflation. In Great Britain, it is currently over 10%. It remains to be seen whether the Bank of England is willing to react accordingly and hike interest rates further. After the last rate hike of 75 BP in November, there was only a 50 BP hike in December to currently 3.5%. However, the market is likely to doubt the Bank of England's resolve. In addition, better economic data would tend to exacerbate inflation concerns. Another negative factor would be the impact of Brexit, which would be felt in the economy. This also clouded the economic outlook in the long term. The euro-pound exchange rate is likely to range between 0.86 and 0.89 in the future. And so Brexit will play a role and does play a role in a lot of parts of the economy for the years to come. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.